So the other day I was absolutely blown away and over the moon when Dave Warren of Flies4Preds contacted me and said he's got a fly for me to test. And the fly, the best way I can describe it is like a hybrid. It's a cross between a fly and a soft plastic. Now Ryan Houston did me a rat once and he sent me a little screw and I said, what's that for? And he says, well, you can take the back of the rat off and add a soft plastic, and this is quite similar, but this is a fly. And I'm really honoured and grateful that Dave thought of me to go and test these out, and he sent me them, and like what I always do, I impulse buy and bought loads of different tails to try and go with them. Now this is an example of one of the flies. It's the end bit, I don't know, I ain't got a clue what the material is, but it seems a bit firmer and stiffer than what a normal fly would be. So I'm thinking that's going to keep its profile in the water, which I like. I like the flies with quite a big profile. And then at the back, there's a little screw where you can add a curly tail. And like one I've already got up, you just add the curly tail on and you've like got a hybrid fly, is what I'm calling them. And I think they look absolutely fantastic. Now I like flies and lures with lots of action, which is why I've gone for the curly tail type. Looking at it, because it's got the curly tail on, I think it's going to sink a little bit quicker than a normal fly, but that shouldn't be too bad. But I'll be experimenting, taking them out, experimenting them with lots of different tails. And when I was ordering, I should have took a closer look at the size of the tails, because I've gone from the ridiculous, which is buying that, and to try and screw that into there is not going to match. So that's going to be sent to somebody else who I'll go in touch with. And then from that large one to a real small thing, which when I saw these two legs coming off, I thought, oh, they'll give quite a lot of movement, but it's going to be too small, which is unfortunate, because if you could get them in a bigger size, I ain't got a clue what they're called. I think I got them from AGM discount tackle. A lot of these tails were either from AGM or the lure box. I've ordered a couple off Wish, but I don't know when they're going to come. And a couple off eBay, but the best ones I've found is the McTail ones, because they're quite slim profile and I think they match the body quite nicely. But I'll just move the camera down to look at the table and you can see the different versions of tails that I've got. So these are the different tails. I've got some spare squirrely bird tails, which I think will work really well. That fit quite nice onto there and give a good action. These are the McTails, which I think are my favourite ones. They were from the lure box. And then there was this, I think this is a 10cm Callins Octo Gambo grub, and what I've done, I've just cut the end off so that fits on. And then there's some of these other grubs where I've actually cut the tail for that one to make it look a bit like, you know, a bit more different. And yeah, so they look quite good. These ones are quite different. These are like a cross. These have got two paddle tails on. And if I show you on the lure, see what it looks like. So that would be it. It may be worth chopping that off a little bit so it's a bit more up like that. But it'd be interesting to see how they work. They'll definitely catch. I've got 100% of that. Dave's flies are amazing, every single one, and he does. He knows that when he does a new model, I'll be interested, and I'll be going to looking to buy some. So I'm going to start here with the water being up so much. It brings a little peg like this into play a little bit, and I can already see a nice pike down here. So if I'm quiet, holding right in the side, just going to put this over here and just see
with this single hook. No, he's not interested in the moment. That's encouraging though. That's a nice pike. Here he goes, just shot out. Let's hope he'll turn around and come back for it. The tail looks really good against the current. Might need to add a little bit of weight on just to hold it down a little bit. But this spot really comes into play during spawning time. They seem to hang around here. I can't see anything else down here, but I'm just going to have a go close in across these lily pads, because the flow isn't as much here. You never know, one can spring out of nowhere. Just try off round by this bush, see if you can see against it. I can't get it to sink without some weight on, so I think it's going to be a case of just adding a 5 gram drag and spinning weight onto it, just so I can hold it down a little bit against the current. With the current it's fine. Against it though, he seems to want to rise up, which usually in a canal is perfect, but in a river, completely different ball game. Just going to try over the other side a little bit. Yeah, as you can see there, against the current, it's not dropping at all. So it's almost fishing like a popper, which in the summer would be brilliant. But at the moment, I needed to go down a little bit. I'll put it forward and let it sink down by these reeds. See if there's anything down here. Yeah, see that tail is just working all the time. So I've got these dragon weights in 5, 7, 10, 15, 20 kilograms. I'm just going to put a little 5 one on to start with and see where that goes. I think these are a lot better, a lot stronger than the chips. So we'll see how that goes. Oh yes, what a take that was. It's probably the one that was there right at the start. Lovely little fish. Look at that fly in its mouth. Absolutely nailed it. Fantastic. So first pike, absolutely inhaled the lure. I think this was the one that I saw in the side to start with. Just come out the coloured water across the margin. Absolutely fantastic. Put up a lovely fight. Nice lean thing. Let's get it back and see if we can get one more now. No. So after the disaster that ended the session on the river, I've come to the canal, but unfortunately the canal's really coloured, which I don't like, so confidence has already gone down, but we'll give it a go. Started off with this split tail one that I've done, just cutting it in half. Still sinks nice and slow though, which is good, so let's give it a go. Yeah, so, but the tail doesn't actually affect its sinking rate really. Still the eye of the hook, which is going down first, which is good. You can still fish it really, really slow. Just wish it was a bit clearer. I might move on to another stretch in a minute, see if that's clearer. So just because of the water clarity, I'm just going to change this tail to one of these fluorescent yellow ones, these McMuck tails, which I know look quite good, and give that a go. Now what I like to do is get the tail so as it curls up in line with the hook. There we go. Oh yes! Come on! Oh no! Ah, jeez. Oh, yes. Nice fish. That's what we wanted. So making the effort to come down here and fishing in the rain was well worth it for a cracking fish like that. I had the rain on the GoPro hasn't spoiled the video, but came out the side, took the fly really well. Really pleased. Let's get back in and see if there's some more. Now, something about these flies that surprised me when I first got them. You get a pike, they end up looking like that, but once you put it in the water and it goes back to what it was. And these are quite robust. I thought after a few pike the material will start falling out, but it never does. There you see, back in the water, back to how it should be. Sometimes you just gotta like move some of the fibres over the hook, but they stand a lot of punishment, and it's really good. That was a nice fish. That was a nice fish. Hopefully it didn't fill the hook too much and we'll come after it again. But yeah, that seems a very nice long fish. But flash behind it then. Still out there. Whether we'll come for it again, I don't know. Right, so I switched over to this one. Different design, different material, falls a bit slower. It doesn't hold as much water, so therefore I can't cast as far, but let's see if anything comes. Like using it yesterday in the more murkier water, I couldn't really see what it was doing. I was doing it a bit too quick and it kept coming up. Whereas here, where it's clearer, I can just about see it and I know when to twitch it. Oh yeah, a little subtle take that was. Oh no, I'm not doing a very good job of showing you how to hook up with these. Ah shit, pike right underneath that then. Let's see if I can fish these leaves. Like I was doing hard to work in between these leaves, but there was a little pike. Well, it wasn't little, it was quite nice actually, following that one in. Oh, took my tail. There's my tail floating down there. Bit my tail off. Oh. Jeez. Oh dear. The speed. Let's see if I go for it back up where I lost that nice one from. Rested it a little bit. Let's see if it's in the mood to take a fly now. Oh, there's one. Oh, look at him go. Oh, lovely fight. An angry thing. Yeah. Not the one that we lost earlier, but very welcome. Right in the side of his mouth. So this little angry pike came out, smashed the fly, gave up a real good fight. Let's get back in and see there's some more there. So despite the rain, that was an enjoyable session. 3 things I learned, and one I already knew, is 1, my welly's got a hole in and I've got wet feet. 2, my waterproofs aren't waterproof. And 3, as I knew anyway, the flies are top class. All 3 of them got takes and caught. And I'll do a proper summary when I get back. So speak to you soon. So despite the weather, and trust it, get home and it's all stopped raining now, but a real good session down there. Got 2 on the bank, missed 4 and had a follow, and the one I missed seemed bigger than the one I caught. But my review on the flies, as usual from Dave and Flies and Predators, fantastic. So these 2 with the slightly tougher material at the end, they sink quite slowly and you can work them nice and slow. And yeah, like all 4 of them caught, so I don't know what to say. I'm just really impressed. If I was being really picky, and this is just a cosmetic value for me, with this lure and here, I would have liked the fibres to be a bit longer to cover the screw, so it looks more a complete lure. Like this one, it's better. But I think out of the 3 I tried, my favourite one was this orange one. I just think, and as I was just saying there, you can see the fibres of the fly cover the screw a lot better, and this worked really nice, and I'll be using these a lot more. To go on from there, if they fancied making bigger ones similar to this one, like a size like this, which you could add a towel on, I'd like one that size for like the river. Even though that would work in the river, I'd just like one big head, big profile head, and then to add a towel on. But again, I can't fault the flies, they're brilliant. My orange one's missing an eye, but I can easily glue that on. I think the key is to try and find a tail that balances it out. When I had this tail, the one that was on here, the white one, which I split, that worked really well on there. Once I had that one bitten off, putting this one on, it just didn't seem to work quite right. But again, that's just my opinion and me being picky. But yeah, it's great. They're brilliant. And like all the flies, they stand up to the pike. I thought when I first used them, after a couple of pikes, the fibre is going to come out and they're going to be useless. But now they're really good. Just a closer look at these dragon weights that I use if I want to add some weight on. It's a tough metal ball head. This is the 10 gram one, and you just spring it open, add your fly on, and close it, and they are quite robust and strong, and they'll never open out. When I look at the Ched rigs, I look at them and I think, you know, the little metal that runs through the ball, oh, you know, that could open out in my eyes, but these are great, and I've got several of them which I add on. And again, it's just starting to rain again, so I'm going to have to wind this up quickly. But if you're interested in getting into the flies, he also does these smaller flies on his website, and I think these are like a £5, which is like nothing. And I've yet to test these out, but these will be killer for jacks if you want just some fun. And of course the bigger ones will go as well, but I need to try these out as well. But to test them lures out, Dave, brilliant as always, keep making them, they're great. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I managed to show you properly how they worked. So until next one, no doubt Dave will produce a new model next week, which I'll have to buy. But again, Dave, thanks a lot for sending me them to try. I absolutely love them. So until next time, tight lines. One thing I forgot to mention is when I finish with using the flies, I always hang them up afterwards just to let them dry out, so they're nice and dry for the next session.